Namaste. Today I am going to explain you about multi-dose vial policy. So we used to call it as a MDVP. M stand for multi, D stand for dose, V stand for vial, P stand for policy. What is this multi-dose vial policy? So any of the vaccines or injections we reuse multiple time. We use the same vial, so that we used to call it as a multi-dose. If the same injection used for single time, we used to call it as a single dose vial. If a multiple time, if we prick the vial, then it will become a multi-dose. Okay, preferably some of the vaccines we are using for a multi-dose vial. Okay, in a multi-dose vial there are two categories. Some of the multi-dose vial, as per the manufacturer, the multi-dose vial should be discarded after 4 to 6 hours of opening. Okay, in this case we are pricking a vial multiple time, but we are storing for a, as per the manufacturer, only for 4 to 6 hours. And some of the multi-dose vial, as per the manufacturer, we can store up to 28 days. This is the shelf life for the multidose vial. So some of the vaccine, as per the manufacturer, we are going to store it for 28 days. That is the shelf life for multidose vial. So when you are storing for 28 days, our responsibility is to maintain efficacy and sterility and proper storage. Like if a cold chain has to be maintained for the vial, that cold chain has to be maintained till 28 days. Okay, so regarding how to store 28 days this multi-dose vial, today I am going to explain. Okay. Once I have taken a multi-dose vial from the fridge, so I have to check the medicines. So visibility of the medicines, open the pack and check for a visibility. Okay, any discoloration of the vial and any sedimentation in a vial I should see. Okay, if there is no sedimentation and visibility is color is not changed, then it is fine. And another thing, very important thing, is checking of a expiry. This medication expiry you need to check. Okay, so what is the date of expiry, and say whether the same medication advised in the patient file, you have to cross verify as per the doctor advice, prescription, whether it is same medicine advised to the patient, we have to cross check. Okay, so before administering any of our medication, just cross verify with the doctor prescription. I cross verified with a patient, doctor prescription, and even medication also I cross verified both. Now I have to wash my hand before loading of a medication. The golden policy for the multi-dose vial, so because this will be used for multiple time, so in that case I should use only new syringes. Each time aspiration I should use a syringes. Okay, new syringes I should use, and even new needle has to be used for a multi-dose vial. So open the syringe and the shake well this vial gently. Open the cap. Take whatever the advice given by the doctor. That much dose you need to aspirate. And I loaded the medication. So with a sterile manner and as per the medication administration policy, how to administer the medicines to the patient. Next, administration of a medication, whatever the leftover medicines in a multi-dose vial, securing of a multi-dose vial is very important, because we should not make any contamination of this drug, because I am going to store this drug for a 28 days. In that case, what I should do, so take a sterile gauze, wipe the tip, and take one more sterile gauze, place it over the top of the vial and seal it with the plaster so that the medicines will not get any contamination. Okay, so whenever you are going to use this drug, take always new syringe and aspirate it. Okay, so now I secure the medication properly with a sterile gauze. After that, my responsibility is to write a label for this. Okay, so finally keep this vial into the pouch and write a label. So always for the multidose vial shelf life is 28 days or 8 to 10 pricks. Okay, we can store this multidose vial. Once we open, 28 days can be stored in a refrigerator. We should maintain a temperature like 2 to 8 degree, and the label when it was opened and when is for a discarding date has to be reflect on the vial. So now I should write a proper label for the vial. So date of opening, DO open 1/5/2022 at 10 a.m. So now date for discard for this vial is 29/5/22 at 10 a.m. Okay, so whenever I aspirate from this vial, my responsibility is to put a dots to know how many pricks got was happened for the vial. Okay, so I always put a dot. So once the dots reached for 8 to 10 pricks now, so immediately discard the vial. Need not to wait for up to 28 days. Once the shelf life like a 8 to 10 pricks over, discard the vial. So this label should be reflect on the vial. So finally, labeled vial, store it in a refrigerator in a cold chain, because since it is a vaccination, so vaccines should be stored in a proper temperature. Okay, so make sure always multidose vial can be used multiple patient. Whenever we aspirate from the vial, make sure using of a new syringe and new needle, and maximum sterility has to be maintained for the vial by closing of a tip. And always whenever you take it off from the pouch, see any discoloration and sedimentation in a vial and check a expiry date of a vial. Finally, you can aspirate with a new syringe. Once you usage, again keep it back and make sure putting of a dot in a label. Finally, you can store it in a refrigerator. This is regarding a multidose vial policy.